Have you ever noticed that some skies in watercolor look luminous and dynamic? In this video, I'm going to reveal an underused technique to create dynamic and luminous skies. How any level of painter can use this to transform their work, and the places that I got stuck along the way, and the solutions that made all the difference. This is the technique that has transformed hundreds of my students' paintings. And it's this exact approach that helped me go from painting skies like this to this. Before I explain this, there are two things that we must know. So let's say that we have a house. The first skill is the foundation of the house. If we don't establish this, the whole thing is going to collapse. So if we look at this old sky painting of mine versus the new one, what do we see? Obviously, there are a lot of differences between the two, but let me give you a clue. We are going to turn them black and white and take a look. When we take the color away, we can see the tonal value. What I was running into time and time again in these early paintings was lack of strength in the middle value and the darks. No matter how much time you put into thinking about color, the painting is never going to work if we don't paint strong enough. That is the first thing that you want to check if your paintings are not working, and that is the foundation of this house we are building. So to check this, take a photo of your painting and put it side by side with the reference and take the color away from both of them. 90% of the time, this is where the issue is if you're not creating compelling light. Now, this isn't to say that we need to match exactly the contrast of the photo, but this can tell you quickly and easily if the values are off. If you see a big difference between the two, you know that you are likely painting too light within your scenes. This can point to a technique and possibly a supplies issue. Often, if a watercolor painter is struggling to paint dark enough, they are using pan paints instead of tube paints. With pans, it's harder to create rich mixtures. Consider switching to tube paints. Even when the paints have dried within the wells on your palette, you can reactivate them by spraying them really well before you get started. I try to do this before I even draw my scene. When I'm ready to paint, they are ready to go. The other issue is that watercolor fades a bit when it dries. One of my favorite teachers, Andy Evenson, always says, if it looks right when you paint it, it's wrong. What he means by this is that you need to paint a little bit darker than you think you need to compensate for the drying and fading that happens. Now, looking back on our house, we have a solid foundation of values. Next, we need the middle part of the house. Speaking of houses, there is an odd house in our neighborhood that has baffled me and my wife for years. We laugh about this house from time to time just because it's always changing. One day, my wife realized that there was a Groupon for a farmer's market at this house. So being curious, we go to the location and we look around, and there's only one person. They had no idea what we were talking about. They said that they were part of the limo side of things. Limousine, like really long, fancy car. And then we also noticed that the house was now a martial arts studio. Probably a month or so later, whatever business was there was now gone. They didn't know what they were. They were trying to do too many things. And we see this same lesson ring true in almost everything. You use too many spices and the soup is ruined. You have too many layers of audio and the song just becomes noise. Painting is exactly like this. Even if I nail the values of the scene, if I overwork the sky and try to include every detail, it just becomes a mess. If we emphasize everything, we emphasize nothing. That's why the middle of the house is simplification. Painters fall into the trap of including everything they see. Painting is not just copying what you see from a photograph and recreating it. Here are a couple tips to help you start to fix this problem even if you are new to painting. First, think about what attracted you to the scene in the first place. Why are you even painting this, right? Keep that in the front of your mind. Maybe it's a certain part of the sky, a key area on a street scene, or the way a light is hitting the side of a house. We need to emphasize that area and downplay the rest of the scene. We are essentially creating a hierarchy of importance. Now remember, everything in the scene cannot be important. So lean in and emphasize the important areas. Now, how we emphasize these important areas is by giving these parts of the scene more contrast, more saturation, and harder edges. Now, we're going to talk about edges in just a minute because this is crucial to painting skies. Where we have the most of these things is where the viewer's attention is naturally going to go. So if you're struggling to eliminate unnecessary detail, you can do a simple trick of squinting. Squinting helps you simplify what you were looking at. Now, if you watch any of your favorite artists, as they look at the reference, as they look at the scene, they are often going to squint or maybe close one of their eyes. They're desperately trying to simplify what they're looking at and remove unnecessary information. Before you even start to paint, zoom in and play around with different compositions and find a simple part of the scene to paint. So many people skip this, but this little bit of planning can help you make big steps towards simplifying your scenes. Now we need to put a roof on our house. We've covered a lot of ground in this video so far. If you have questions about my approach to painting, take a look at that 5-step guide I have down in the description. I've gotten incredible feedback from this, and painters are downloading this guide and putting it on their phone to work through some of these challenging issues. Now back to the roof of our house. Painting only on dry paper wrecks your paintings and holds you back as a watercolor artist. We don't have a lot of advantages over other mediums, but one gigantic advantage that we have is painting wet into wet. The soft and lost edges that we can effortlessly create with watercolor is perhaps the greatest strength of the medium. Looking back on my early paintings, I didn't understand that creating hard edges all over the sky was wrecking my paintings. Part of what makes dynamic and compelling skies work is that there aren't hard edges all over the place. There's a real softness to it. And when we do decide to emphasize an area with a firmer edge, it locks in that hierarchy that I was talking about earlier. Suddenly our sky has focus. We're not distracted by every little cloud around the scene. And the parts of the sky that don't have hard edges are now left with beautiful, soft transitions from shape to shape and color to color. That's exactly what we see when we look up at the sky. And it's the secret ingredient that many watercolorists overlook. Here are 3 things to help you improve with this specific technique. Practice painting wet and wet skies specifically, not just complete paintings. This is the fastest way to improve, and often I see students just getting these repetitions in when they are painting a complete painting. Now I know supplies is not cheap, but if you can, try to get 100% cotton paper. I actually use Saunders Waterford 140-pound cold press. If you have questions about the supplies that I use, you can check out my watercolor supplies guide down in the links below. The next is to pre-wet your paper. Now I know a lot of you who have seen my videos before see me dampening the front and the back of my paper and laying it loosely on my surface to paint. Now, if you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. Just tape your paper down like you normally do, and then use a sponge to evenly dampen it before you get started. Now that you have a handle on this important technique in watercolor, we need to talk about layering. This will unlock a powerful approach that you can use on any scene. I've made a complete video on this topic that you can see right here.